got up early today on my day off because I decided I was going to be productive and get things done. Excuse me. I have a friend coming in town who'll be staying with me from Norway, actually. I haven't seen him in like 3 years since I was in Australia. We did college together. So there's still like a handful of things I want to tackle and get done before he gets here so I can just enjoy the weekend and not have to worry about it. So I came to my favorite coffee shop. This is the place where I'm the most productive and can actually get things done. It's also the one place I know of near me that just like blasts their AC as cold as it gets. And I love it because it's freaking 110 outside and I can wear my hoodie inside, and I love wearing hoodies, and so that's what I'm gonna do. Good morning. Hey, how are you, bro? Good. Can I do we'll do a hot honey lavender with oat milk, please? This is my go-to spot right here. Thank you, bro. This music is so freaking loud. I'm gonna sit right here for a minute. I'm aware that this probably isn't gonna be the best audio considering I'm sitting right next to the main road. I didn't really consider the fact that they'd be blasting music at 7 a.m. but nonetheless, cheers. Oh man, that's so good. Sometime last year, I made a video and it was titled, those cars are so loud. Can you guys just turn your mufflers off? Of course, as soon as I start talking, they turn their music on over here on the patio. Alright, we're gonna move. Okay, we're gonna try this. Where do I find a quiet place around here? This isn't gonna work. My camera picks up audio so easily. I was really trying to avoid doing the third week in a row of YouTube videos in my car, but it seems this is the only place I can find some peace and quiet. So I guess I will just talk to you guys from here. As I was saying previously, sometime last year I made a video titled The Truth About Living Alone, and I shared a lot of my thoughts and gave some perspective on living alone and just like what I'd gained from it. But at that point, I had only really been living alone properly for like, I think 6 months to 7 months. I can't remember exactly. And now that it's been over a year and a half, I've learned so much from the experience. And so for this week's video, I simply wanted to share my experience and my advice on living alone. So here are a few reasons why you should live alone in your 20s. The first reason why I believe everyone should live alone in their 20s, at least at some point, and this is probably, I'd say, one of the most important to me at least, is the fact that you never really have any other time in your life to do so. There's people walking by me. Think about it. You grow up with your family, right? And you're going into high school, and then right out of high school, like the American way is you go into college and you're living in a dorm with somebody. And then at some point in your college journey or a little after, you know, you may still have roommates or housemates. And then you go into a relationship and you either move in with your boyfriend or girlfriend or your husband or wife. And then, you know, for the majority of your life, you're living with somebody else. And then maybe by the time, you know, some people, by the time they're like 70, 80 years old, when unfortunately they lose their spouse, they are finally living on their own. And of course there are a bunch of other circumstances where that could look different. But in my mind, I'm like, wow, I really thought about that. I was like, there aren't a lot of other times in my life where I could utilize this to actually like live on my own and completely be individual and by myself. And for that reason alone, I think that's something worth thinking about, because it's just an experience that you won't ever really get back until maybe later in life. And again, I know situations are different, but for the majority, I feel like that's the case. Another reason why I believe everyone should live alone at least once in their 20s is because you learn so much about yourself that you didn't know before. Because you're spending all this time simply with yourself and really no one else around in like your home and the spaces where you just relax and rest or whatever you want to call it, you really learn the things that you like, what you don't like. You learn who you are, you learn who you aren't, and overall just learn things about yourself that you really didn't even know or see before. One of the first things I learned when living alone was that I actually do value and enjoy my alone time. Whereas beforehand, I was just so extroverted and like always doing something. And don't get me wrong, I still am always doing something and I'm still extroverted. But I really, really enjoy just like going to my own space and being alone with myself and having that space to just reset or recharge. Which leads to the other point I had, and it's that you have space to completely be yourself. Living alone makes home so much more special because it's a space you can completely create yourself. Growing up, you know, we did things the way that my parents, you know, wanted to do things because it was their home and the family they raised. And as I grew up and just developed my own thoughts and my own ideas and opinions about home or just different things even, it made me realize coming into my 20s and living alone that I like my home a certain way that's different than how my parents had liked it, if that makes sense. For example, I grew up in a big family. There's like 8 of us, but plus parents and other people who were always living with us. So many people in the house. Over time, it just became like it was always like a bit messy or just chaotic because there's always people in and out. And now I really like my home, how it's always clean and I always have like structure and order and things are placed exactly where I want them to be, because it's like the way I'm organized and the way I want things. And I don't know how else to describe it, but it's like I can create it for how I want it to be. And at the same time, I have this space to be able to just solely be myself. If I want to go and break down and cry at my place, I can do so. I'm not saying that's something I'm doing all the time, but like I don't have to, you know, perform for anybody or change who I am or anything for anybody else. I have a space to solely just like worship and pray. I can pray like out loud and just be honest and raw and vulnerable with God, you know, whereas if I'm living with other people and I'm in my room and I just want to like pray out loud, like I don't want to, you know, I don't want other people hearing what I have to say to God, you know. It's also just a space where I can go and just create. You know, if I want to pull out my guitar or my little keyboard and write music, or if I want to go and, you know, just, I don't know, paint or journal or do poetry or like anything that like just jogs my creativity, or even YouTube videos, really. I don't have to, you know, think of certain times of the day when no one else is around so that I can do these things, you know. I go home and I know I have the space to be able to just do what I want to do, and I love that. And the final reason why I believe everyone should live alone at least one time in their 20s is because you just learn how to grow up. You learn how to do things on your own. One of the hard or rude awakenings I had was the fact that like no one else is gonna make my bed for me. No one else is gonna clean up my apartment. No one else is gonna do the dishes. No one else is gonna meal prep. No one else is going to help me do the things I need to do. Heck, when something goes wrong, no one else is gonna be there to fix it. Just me. And yeah, that can be like tough at times, especially when you're going through a hard season and, you know, things are becoming a mess, or even when you get sick, even like you have to take care of yourself. But like I said before, you learn what you want, you learn what you need. And I really feel like a lot of maturity and wisdom comes in that season of living alone, because you aren't reliant on anyone else but yourself and God, hopefully. And it teaches you so many things that I don't really know you could learn elsewhere. Maybe you do learn it at some point, but it could be later in life. And it's nice to have, you know, the skills and thoughts and just the wisdom and stuff I've learned now, so that going into my later 20s, into my early 30s, I already have this knowledge. And it's really empowered me. It's set me up to just, I feel like, succeed more in life. It's made me stronger, made me more confident, and just helped me so much. So with all that to say, if you're someone who's thought about living alone at some point, and maybe you're in your early 20s or just before or even later 20s, I recommend it. And those are just a few reasons why. There are probably so many others I could think of, and I'd love to talk more about them. So if you have any comments or questions and you want to like DM me on Instagram or put it in the comments, please ask. If you're on the edge about it, I say just go for it, because it's not easy just doing it. Like, it's not something that a lot of people just want to do, especially, like I said, if you're extroverted like me, or you know, for me at the very beginning it was hard because I didn't like being alone with myself, because my mind would just run, and I had all these issues that I had to talk through and work through with my therapist. But it was so worth it, and I've seen the benefit of it over my life, and I couldn't urge you to do it more, even if it's just a year, or heck, even if you just want to go, I don't know, just try it out for like 6 months on a 6-month lease. I don't know. I think you should do it. And if, you know, you're seeing this and you're questioning it already, maybe this is your sign. But like I said, those are just a few reasons why I believe that everyone should live alone at least some point in their 20s. If you're someone who has also been in the same boat as me and you are living alone, or you have lived alone at some point, I would love to hear your thoughts, because I'm sure there are a lot of other things I'm missing. But I hope this video helped you. I hope it encourages you. I just wanted to have a short, sweet, simple video this week, and I have to get back to getting things done. But I love you guys. I hope you enjoyed this week's video. If you did, please give it a like and a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it, especially if you click the bell icon to get notified when I post. I upload every Sunday. I've been doing that for the entire year. I'm doing really good. I haven't missed a Sunday yet. So I upload every week. You can find my socials in the description below. But other than that, I hope you have a great week. I will see you next Sunday. Love you. Bye.